The document wasn't leaked, it was surgically placed. Directive 77B circulated last quarter among the executive councils of the world's most elite athletic commissions. Its header was sterile, stamped with the insignia of the Global Athletic Performance Consortium, a body most fans have never heard of, but one that dictates the technological future of every major league. The language was deliberately opaque, filled with corporate jargon about next-generation biosynergy and proactive wellness frameworks. But the mandate at its core was brutally simple: the immediate and mandatory adoption of Quantum-Enhanced Biometric Trackers, or QEBTs, for all professionally contracted athletes. No debate, no opt-out clause. The game was about to change, and the players weren't given a vote. Publicly, the rollout was a masterclass in public relations. The consortium's charismatic chairman held a press conference, standing before a sleek holographic display showcasing the device. He called it the next frontier in injury prevention, a guardian angel on the wrist of every player. He spoke of optimizing performance, of extending careers, of finally conquering the physical limitations that have haunted sports for centuries. Commentators and sports science pundits echoed the sentiment, praising the innovation. They saw the polished exterior of the QEBT, a minimalist band of matte black polymer hugging the athlete's wrist, its surface inert except for a single soft pulse of light. They heard the promises of algorithms that could predict a torn ACL weeks before it happens, or flag the subtle onset of chronic fatigue. What they didn't see was the technology buried beneath that placid surface, and they certainly didn't ask who built it. The manufacturer is a company called Chronos Dynamics. Their corporate headquarters is an unassuming glass tower in a Northern Virginia tech corridor, a stone's throw from the Beltway and its constellation of defense and intelligence contractors. Their public-facing portfolio is clean, focusing on high-performance computing and data analytics for logistics and finance. But a deep dive into their patent filings, buried in the databases of the World Intellectual Property Organization, tells a different story. These documents read less like sports science and more like a DARPA project briefing. Patent US 2024-00981-A1, System for Secure Real-Time Data Exfiltration via Quantum Entangled Particle Pairs. Another, EP 384592-B1, details a method for predictive human profiling based on autonomic nervous system telemetry. And the most chilling, a patent for low-latency neurofeedback loops for cognitive state modulation. This isn't about tracking heart rate variability. This is about mapping the human soul in real time. The official line from Chronos and the consortium claims these devices merely monitor. They collect data, send it to the cloud for analysis, and provide teams with actionable insights. But the word quantum isn't just marketing fluff. The QEBTs operate on a principle that sidesteps conventional digital security entirely. Each device is paired with a receiver at Chronos' central server farm through quantum entanglement. Data isn't transmitted in bits and bytes that can be intercepted or decrypted. It's a mirrored state. A change in the athlete's physiological state is reflected instantaneously and perfectly on the other side. It's an unhackable, unjammable, instantaneous data pipeline. It bypasses every known encryption standard because it's not encrypted. It's a direct physical reflection across space. This is a level of security and data integrity that financial institutions and even most government agencies can only dream of. So the question becomes terrifyingly clear. Why does a basketball player's real-time stress response during a free throw need this military-grade physics-defying data security? What is so valuable about a sprinter's lactate threshold or a quarterback's saccadic eye movements that it requires a communication channel impervious to the world's most powerful intelligence agencies? Insiders whisper about the data streams. They're not just collecting heart rate and GPS coordinates. The QEBTs are sampling cortisol levels through electrochemical skin sensors. They're mapping brainwave activity with micro-EEG contacts. They're analyzing vocal cord tension from subvocal vibrations to gauge emotional states. It's an unprecedented torrential flood of physiological and psychological markers flowing from the athlete's body directly to Chronos Dynamics' black box servers. Quantum-Enhanced Biometric Trackers are not just watching the players. They are reading them. They are digitizing their very essence. The locker room is no longer a sanctuary. It's a data collection node. The field of play is no longer a stage for human drama. It's a live fire testing ground for the most advanced human surveillance technology ever deployed. The consortium told us this was about protecting the athletes. But when you build a vault this secure, it's not to protect what's inside. It's to protect the owner's exclusive access to it. Whose hands are truly on the controls, and what are they looking for inside the minds of our modern-day gladiators? The question of control isn't just about who sees the data. It's about who paid for the camera. Following the mandatory QEBT rollout and the growing unease in athletic circles, an anonymous source from within the Global Sports Integrity Alliance, a watchdog group with a reputation for being notoriously tight-lipped, made a choice. They executed what's now being called the Trojan data drop. It wasn't a flood of documents. It was a single, heavily encrypted ledger file delivered to a handful of trusted investigative journalists. Once decrypted, it revealed a disturbing pattern of financial transactions that painted the entire QEBT initiative in a sinister new light. Chronos Dynamics, the seemingly innocuous tech firm, had received a series of massive, untraceable payments. The money wasn't from venture capitalists or sports leagues. It was funneled through a labyrinth of shell corporations and offshore accounts, all originating from a single source, a sovereign wealth fund known for its aggressive geopolitical maneuvering and its deep, inextricable ties to its nation's state intelligence apparatus. This wasn't an investment in sports. It was a strategic acquisition. The fund in question has a documented history of using its immense capital to acquire critical infrastructure, technology, and media assets globally, all in service of its government's long-term strategic goals. Why would they pour billions into a sports technology company? Because they understood something the rest of the world was missing. The modern athlete is a global cultural asset, a high-profile influencer, and a walking, talking sensor array. They travel the world, interact with leaders, and command the attention of millions. Access to their unfiltered biometric and psychological state is an intelligence goldmine. It's soft power, leveraged through hard data. The fund wasn't buying a company. It was buying a network of human intelligence platforms. With the money trail exposed, our investigation pivoted to Chronos' most secretive division, a black-budget R&D wing operating out of a secure facility that doesn't appear on any public maps. This is where we found Project Nightingale. It's not a piece of hardware, it's an algorithm, a ghost in the machine. According to internal documents from the Trojan drop, Nightingale is a self-learning neuro-linguistic programming model, a predictive engine of terrifying sophistication. Its original purpose, developed under a classified contract for a consortium of defense agencies, was strategic military simulation. It was designed to analyze real-time data from soldiers in high-stress combat scenarios, predict their breaking points, identify moments of hesitation, and even model how entire units might react to psychological warfare. It was built to anticipate human decision-making under the ultimate pressure. Now, this same algorithm is processing the quantum-secure biometric data from athletes worldwide. The official narrative from the leagues and the consortium still touts fair play and peak performance. But Project Nightingale isn't looking for peak performance. It's looking for vulnerabilities. It processes the torrent of data from the QEBTs and builds predictive models on each and every athlete. It knows which pitcher's confidence crumbles after walking 2 batters in a row. It can flag the exact moment a tennis player's focus shifts due to a spike in cortisol, making them susceptible to an unforced error. It can identify the subtle biometric tells that reveal a team's new secret offensive strategy before they even run the play. This isn't about making athletes better. It's about knowing exactly how they will fail. Think about the implications. A rival nation's star player is heading into a championship match. Hours before, a targeted disinformation campaign, micro-tailored to their specific psychological profile as determined by Nightingale, floods their social media. The algorithm has predicted it will elevate their anxiety levels by a critical 4%. An imperceptible change to the outside world, but enough to tip the scales in a game of inches. The scoreboard might show a simple victory, a story of an athlete who just had an off day. But the real-time data stream processed by Nightingale charts a different kind of victory, a surgical, invisible strike in a new form of hybrid warfare. When a nation's intelligence apparatus gains real-time, predictive insight into its adversary's most celebrated cultural figures, their fatigue, their emotional state, their tactical tells, is it still just a game? The fingerprints on this algorithm don't belong to a coach. They belong to a spy master. The sports arena has been turned into a laboratory, and the athletes are the unwitting subjects in an experiment to perfect the art of psychological control. And if this is what they're doing on the field, what happens when they decide to point this weapon somewhere else?